Y'all know I can't show y'all this without showing y'all how we got here, so let's take it back. But first things first. Welcome to my channel. Hope everyone is having a great day today. If you are not new here, welcome back. And if you're new here, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Well, today we are getting into a full lock journey of my client that's in the chair. She has small traditional locks that we started with comb coils, and of course you always know I record that content, so we're going to go back in time and actually look at her install, and I'll give you a few tips and tricks on starter locks, what I did during the appointment, what her consultation process was like, and then we'll come back to 2024's appointment and get into the details about that. So thank you for tuning in. Let's get right into it.
First, before we get in, I lost my ID. Don't know how I did that, but I had a picture, so he let me in.
The folks that be doing the picture, the first that be doing the pictures really, they number one spot in heaven. I promise you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you fine.
Because they be the okay. Go ahead. Welcome to 2023. So I remember I was a little on a time crunch, so I did not get to record her shampoo, detangle, and conditioning, but that is included within the service. I did her consultation about 3 weeks prior, and we discussed that she wanted small square parting as seen in this photo, but she did not want it grid like this photo. She wanted it brick layer, but she still wanted her middle and side part options. I do consultations with everybody because it gets all the hard questions out the way, so when they actually come for the service, we can get right into it. So first thing I did is pre-section the entire head. Now, when I first became a loctician, I didn't always pre-part or pre-section the head, but I noticed when I would just go ahead and put it up in a ponytail and start, that some of my parts will be a little bit slanted to the left, or some rows are bigger than the other. So I learned that pre-sectioning allows me to see the head better, and it also gives me guidelines, and it also allows me to see the client's density and any density changes. Since she wanted brick layer, that means that she didn't want a middle part going all the way down to the nape, so the pre-sectioning was easy. I just did a middle part to the crown of the head and then a vertical ear to ear part. Now let's get into pre-parting the rows. Pre-parting the rows allows me to make sure that each row and each lock is the same size, and also if there's any density changes, it allows me to adjust the density ever so slightly so it doesn't look like a huge change and remains consistent throughout the head. One pro tip that I want you to remember is always make the locks a little bit bigger around the perimeter. So that means around the section that I'm at now and the nape, around the ears, and around the edges. This is because this area of the head is very fragile, and I also kind of think of it as it meeting the friction and the world first, especially in the back. You're meeting friction with your shirts, your hoodies when you lay down. So those locks like to lock first, and if it doesn't have a stable foundation, they tend to break, and you have to start them over or just combine it with the top row. Same with the edges. The edges for a lot of people are very thin, and especially if you work with women have babies, they have thinner edges over time. You want to make them a little bit bigger to combat the life trials and tribulations that come naturally. Once I finish pre-parting the rows in the back, I go to the front pre-parted sections and go ahead and meet those rows to the back rows. This allows the head and the locks to flow together, and the styles look so dope because each row matches together. I also like to start from the middle and then go down to the ear instead of starting on the side where the ear is and go up to the middle. I've noticed that my rows remain pretty consistent when I start from the middle part and go down. And then also usually by the ear, you have to make that kind of like a double row situation due to density. So I like to make sure all the hair is up front in the middle where you're going to most likely see the parting, rather down in the ear area where the hair will be down, if that makes sense. Alright, now we just finished pre-parting all the rows, and the starter locks from here on out is going to be a breeze. And remember I said that row by the ear was going to be a double row, and that's because I make the locks a little bigger in this area so you can see it clearly here. My client decided she wanted her locks started with comb coils, and she also didn't want her roots tight. She wanted her locks really bouncy and the roots kind of loose. So to achieve that look, I used the Influence Honey Almond Styling Foam. If she said that she wanted her roots on the tighter side, I would have used a retwist gel just a little bit to keep that hold on the lock. To ensure that you're constantly not applying foam, just put the foam on each row that you're currently working on and make sure you're working through the hair. Even though I detangled in the shampoo bowl, go from root to tip, but don't rip down on the tips and just detangle the hair. That allows you to move the comb through freely and create a beautiful comb coil. I have been doing locks for a couple years, so I've learned how to eyeball the size, but one of the things that I make sure I do, because I use a precision part rat tail comb, that I put the hair on the teeth right under the gap, because if I mix it with the gap and the straight row of teeth on the comb, then it will cause the hair to tangle when you coil in it. And even though she wants the coils loose, I still use clips to keep the locks out my way. And then when I finish one row, I go right to the next. I will say when I do pre-part the rows, I don't really do them exact. I like to go through and refine. But for her hair this day, I had to make sure every row was precise and how I wanted it before I start putting the coils in. Because y'all, when I scheduled her starter lock appointment, I forgot to block the appointment behind her. So usually starter locks take me about 4 to 5 hours because I really like to take my time. They're paying a lot of money to make sure their parts are precise, but today I only had 3 hours, so I had to really make sure the prep for this starter lock appointment was on point. So really I'm just grabbing and going because I parted the rows precisely. And honestly, after I did that with her, I just kept that the norm for all clients. So I try to part as accurate as possible, so I'm not really doing no rework as I put the coils in. Because this lock is around the perimeter of the head, I elongate the lock a little bit just to add a little extra foundation and hairs. But I also want to make sure I keep that brick layer flow going. So as you can see, I parted it, and if I were to put that comb all the way down through the lock right below it, it will cut right in the middle of it, creating that brick layer effect. And as I do this lock right here, you can really see that brick layer pattern coming out. A rule of thumb, if a client asks for brick layer, they want their locks kind of full. They want their gaps filled, if that makes sense. So if a client has thinner hair and they're afraid of the thinness showing out, you can entice them to still get their locks. Instead of getting grid layer where the locks stack on top of each other, they'll get brick layer and they'll fill in those gaps, which will help conceal any thinning or a lower density on a client. Now we're at the next row, and we're going to continue doing the same thing to continue the brick layer, cut through the center of that bottom lock to give it that brick layer effect, and keep on moving. When I do starter locks, I like to go right to left, or I'll just do the whole back section first and then I'll do the 2 front sections to finish off. So even though I'm going through all the sections in one row, this is going to be the last 2 rows of the head. So right after this, I'm going to be doing the middle part and then we're done. Now we are officially on our last row, which is on the left side. We are in the middle part area of the head, and now all I'm going to do is make sure that all the locks match up to the middle part locks on the right of the head. And with all the starter locks that I start, this little horseshoe part section of the head has to be my favorite. And I know a few of you might be saying, Clutch, you talk about these starter locks, but where did you get these purple clips? You got everything purple. Don't worry, I got you. I purchased my purple clips through Amazon. If you want to, the link, my affiliate link for my Amazon store is linked below. Honestly, y'all, if you see anything on my salon or any products I use, 9 times out of 10, they're linked in my Amazon storefront link. Or through my affiliate links through other companies. So be sure to always check out the descriptions to see what I linked below so you can check it out. And if you're a brand color fanatic like me, I promise you, depending on what brand color you have, you can find any clips that you need. I've found pink, purple, gold, black, blue, red, yellow, orange, the whole 9. So definitely check out my Amazon storefront. Now here's the finished product of the small traditional lock comb coil. Started with square brick layer. This took a total of 3 hours, and I spent about 45 minutes to an hour detangling and conditioning, about 45 minutes pre-parting, and then the rest was used to start the coil. So the coils were put in fairly quickly. She got her hair color fresh for this appointment. So one thing I will say, if you are looking to start locks or you're trying to figure out when to tell the client it's okay to color their hair, always color it before you get the starter locks. Usually around the 1 year mark, I'll okay getting color. So the rule of thumb is to get it right before you get the locks. Rate these starter locks in the comments for me using 1 through 10. I don't remember exactly how much she paid, but I think she paid around $350 to $400 for these starter locks. So was it worth it? Was it not? Let me know in the comments. Okay, y'all. So now let's go back to 2024 and see what her 1 year journey is looking like. Now we're back in 2024. My client appointment started at 10:20 a.m. and today she is getting a retwist and a barrel twist updo style going to the side. I haven't seen her in a while, so she did have a little bit of buildup or a little bit of grayness in her lock, but no worries. I used the Influence Scalp Antiseptic Spray that I put into a mister bottle, and I generously sprayed the antiseptic throughout the entirety of the head and on the scalp. What this does is allows it to break down the buildup before we get to the shampoo bowl. Now we get to the shampoo bowl. One of the things that I like to do to make sure I'm managing my time properly is start and stop the client the same exact way. So when I get to the shampoo bowl, the first thing I am doing is thoroughly rinsing the hair. Sometimes that could be for 1 minute, sometimes that could be for 5 minutes. But the clearer I can get the water before putting my first shampoo on, the better the shampoo will take. Because she had a little bit of buildup, the first shampoo that I used today was the brand Lovely Lather Apple Cider Vinegar Shampoo, and I also used the Influence Deep Cleansing Shampoo. For clients that has visible buildup, I love to use the brand Lovely shampoo because it has that apple cider vinegar. So any clients that have a lot of buildup, or if they definitely need a detox, really for detoxes, all I need is that brand Lovely shampoo because of the apple cider vinegar. It really cuts through any buildup that is there. But if a client doesn't really have any visible debris or buildup within the locks, I usually just go straight to the Influence Deep Cleansing Shampoo. I did a total of 2 clarifying passes, one with the brand Lovely, the other with the Influence, and then I used the Influence Moisture Shampoo and the Influence Rosemary Stimulating Shampoo to add moisture back into her locks after clarifying so much, and then also stimulate her scalp with that rosemary shampoo. Once we got from the shampoo bowl, I remove any excess water using a microfiber towel, but I do not just put up the hair and go ahead and shampoo. I also blow dry, but first I coat the hair with a leave-in spray and oil to bring back some of that moisture that I took away from those clarifying washes. So let's get into the products that we're using in today's video. And remember in my last video, I told you that my P.O. box been jumping. So here's my P.O. box if you would like to send anything. But today we're using the Cure House Natural Loc Water Daily Moisture Mist. And I will be using their Essential Duo today. So the Daily Moisture Mist you can use daily to add more moisture to your locks or quench the locks thirst, as they say in their pamphlet. I will say the spray does not have a very distinct smell, but it does smell like aloe vera. And it isn't a bad smell. The spray actually smelled great. One of the things that I really liked about the package that they sent me is that it came with instruction cards. So the next thing in the Loc Duo is the Cure House Natural Hair Food Oil. And how it explains it is first use the mist and use it generously, and then you use the hair food oil to seal in all that moisture that you added using their Daily Moisture Mist. Daily Moisture Mist is on the lighter side, so it is okay to use daily. I will say, even though it says spray generously, you don't really have to do it too much daily. You could do the generously part every like 3 days. But that oil is a hit. It made the locks feel so soft, and the hair food oil that I've used on every client, their hair felt so soft at the end. So I would definitely say try out the duo and let me know if it works for you. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I have a link for you guys so you guys can try it out. Now I'm going to blow dry the hair. If you're new here, I never blow dry the hair to a full-blown bone dry state. I like to blow dry the hair to a damp state. The reason that I do it is because I want to be comfortable and I want my client to be comfortable. Number one, I keep the salon cold because once I get to working, I start sweating. But also, I don't like when water is constantly dripping down the client's face and they constantly have to grab their towel and wipe their face. And also, when I pick up a lock, I don't want the water flinging all over me. So to make it a win-win for everybody, I blow dry just a little bit, but I still keep it damp because by the end, I will still have to put them under the dryer for a little bit to dry up all that water and set any product that I'm using. Her locks did have a lot of excess water in it, so I did reapply both of the products just to make sure her hair was thoroughly coated. The one thing I will say, I don't really like the droppers on the oils. I just wish it had the little spout or maybe a spray, so that's one suggestion that I would make. In the package that Cure House Natural sent me, they sent me every product that they offered. So the gel that we're using today is the Palm Roll Pomade. They have a jelly and a pomade. Me personally, I don't really like jelly, but if you like lighter gels, it might be great for you. But today I went with the pomade because it was a little bit firmer.
One of my first cruise. Very interesting. Where did you go? So I went with Royal Caribbean. We went to Coco Cay, the Bahamas, Nassau, and Cayman Island. It was fine. It was fine.
Cruises are great.
No, like I enjoyed it. I was like, I'm gonna definitely go back. Now if I'm gonna go back with my aunt, now that's the question.
Oh yeah. It was just you and your aunt?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I told my mom, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to bring somebody that can coach with me.
Hey yo, I wasn't even talking about that, but yeah.
Okay.
You got me weak. You got me crying.
For real.
Oh, but
I'll probably try a home girl, but
yeah.
I told her I had a balcony in my room. I said,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I feel it.
When I start the retwist, I do not put gel directly on the hair as I clean up the part. First, I like to start from the right and then clean up my main part without any gel, and then I put the gel on after I clean out the part. I use the tip of my rat tail comb to move each hair out the way, and it allows me to go through and move each individual hair that is in the way rather than going through and ripping a section of the hair. she is getting an updo, that bottom row I do not twist in the downward direction. I twist it up so it doesn't buckle. The updo that she wants the whole back of her neck showing, so I need to make sure those locks are going up. And because we are doing an updo, her updo is going to the side and she wanted her right side going to the left. So the right side locks, I needed to ensure that I twisted in the upward direction and not back or down, so I can make sure I have that smooth side barrel twist. And if you're wondering why I'm not using clips, that is because she is going straight up into the style. So instead of using clips, I use the circle method to hold the locks in place as I go throughout the head, and then I undo the kink, or I undo that circle to put it up in the style. It's almost like earlier we did a slight foreshadowing. Now we are at the section of the head that I love the most, but now we are on the second row if we're talking about going from right to all the way to the left. Y'all, every time I get to the middle part, this is what I always play in my head.
Make my shit straight.
But no, for real, I don't play about that middle part. I remember one time I installed some locks in my client and that middle part was crooked and I didn't hear the last of it. And then I remember I did a client's lock maintenance and it was like a couple hairs that weren't where they needed to be. And I got a text, she said I was not satisfied with my service today. My middle part wasn't middle parting. And ever since then, I don't play about nobody's parts. I don't play about nobody's middle part. So we making sure we getting that right. Real quick, let's talk about the consistency of the gel. I really did like it. It is firm, but it's not super firm like the lock-in gel if you ever use that. But I liked it because it was easy to melt and set in the hair. And when she comes back for her first shampoo, I'll see how it looks when it rinses out. But honestly, I don't think I'll have any issues. So my honest opinion, this is a great product line to try. They also have a styling foam. They have the lock jelly, they have a body butter, they have the whole nine, and to put the cherry on top, they are purple. So I'll definitely be purchasing their product again. I will be definitely purchasing the gel. I'm gonna look on their site and see if they have a bigger size of that hair oil because I loved it. Right off the bat, every client that I used it on, they were like, oh, what's that? It's minty. It has a peppermint in it. It's very tingly, but it smells so good. It's not super strong either. So I would definitely clutch approve this product line. And if you check it out, make sure you come back to this video and let me know how you like it and what you think about it. Finished with the retwist, I wanted to take a few pics of her hair before it went into the style. One of the things that I am working on is taking pictures of every client that comes in and out of my chair, but I want to take a before picture and an after picture, or a after retwist before a style picture and then the style. A lot of clients, they've been saying, girl, you always recording me, but I never see myself on your page. And that's because I edit everything myself, so it takes a little time, but pictures are the fastest way. As always, with everything I do, I go in pre-section first, whether it's for starter locks or for a style, to make sure everything flows properly. She wanted that one lock on by her ear out, but after we put up the style, she wished she would have did like a 2-strand twist instead. But I'm going through in this pre-sectioning and then adding the rubber bands where I need to. Now we're going to do barrel twist. First, I'm going to grab one lock, and then I'm going to grab the lock from the left and then the lock from the right, and keep alternating. So you want to grab from the left, go over, and then the right one you grab and go over the left, and then you go back to the left, go over the right, and back to the right, go over the left. Now let's just say that you don't have one lock on either side. You maybe have a 3 locks total or 4 locks total. What you want to do is always grab the inside locks first, do your left, right, or right, left over, and then you do the outside locks and continue. Here's when I should have suggested that we do a 2-strand twist instead of leaving only one lock out above the ear, because I kind of seen it not really looking right, but I figured that she knew what she wanted and only did the one lock. And now we're at the nape of the neck, and you can see why I didn't retwist downward and I retwist upward. Now we can get in there really seamless. Now you see that I have 2 locks that I need to start with a barrel twist. You want to start those 2 locks as a 2-strand twist, and then you want to alternate each side and go over, if that makes sense. Usually I put my client directly under the dryer, but we went about an hour over and she had to meet some friends, so I went ahead and used my handheld dryer to dry her up. But this is the finished product. Of course I had to get my pictures, and here's what the pictures are looking like. And I feel like this style looked great on her. I have done a side style on her before, and I always love her styles. Whatever style she picks, she looks very good in. And if you got this far, please drop a heart in the comments and rate the style 1 through 10. Her appointment started at 10:20. It went about an hour over, so we finished around 1:20. Her retwist was $115 with the shampoo included, and then with the added style, it was an additional $35, which came out to a total of $150. So let me know in the comments if you think that price is worth it, if I charge too much, and also let me know if you think we should have did a 2-strand twist, or if the single lock is eating too. Y'all, I lied. My client also bought the Brand Lovely Exhilarating Hair Mist. That totaled to be $16. If you learned anything today, please drop it in the comments below. But thank you for tuning in to my Watch Me Work today and going over my client's traditional lock journey. If you have any questions, comment it below. Thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Deanna, but you call me Clutch. I'm your go-to loctician influencer and educator that comes into the clutch for all things lock business and content. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.